Welcome back to the unpopular opinion becoming popular. My name is Yana the Heretic. I have a little smudge dude on my lap. That is my cat. And hopefully he won't get too chatty because that's what happens a lot in life. He just screams sometimes. I'm just like, dude, what do you want? So be ready. This is the gate of the Egoist, so you never know. He might get all egoic on us. So terrorize this video. But getting into it, this is a little bit of a different flavor for the last gate under the archetype of Prometheus. We have the taming power of the great. Or great accumulation, as the I Ching puts it. This is about rulership. This is about the ego. This is the gate that resides in the ego center, and it is a specific type of leadership, a specific type of rulership. Now, there's not very many, ego gates, so this one specifically is the only one that's coming from the intuitive center. We don't see gate 44. So it is the 26 on its own. And the 26 is the type of rulership that requires the skill of manipulation. And I know that doesn't sound great, but there's a dark and light aspect to each gate, really. And manipulation is the way that people market their vision. So they keep people interested in their vision, and they're speaking from what they consider their own intuition. This is still very highly splenic, so they're naturally capable of empowering this message. It is a message that makes a really great salesperson naturally, or like these people are the head of social reforms, or they're filmmakers or directors, or they're typically in the place where they have an audience to listen to whatever direction this project should go, the head of like an industry, or a patent, something like that, and it's all about being able to speak the right words in order to get people interested. And these people are really looking for, in a way, that pyramid scheme, not in a bad way. I mean, all of us in this day and age want passive income, so you hire an assistant, and that assistant, takes some of the workload, and then that assistant hires their own assistant, and they take off more of that workload. So these are the type of people, that want to put a minimum output to get the maximum input, so they're making that passive income possible for their life. So this is very good for projectors, because projectors don't have as much energy, to give, or anybody that just knows like, hey, like I don't have as much energy. How can I make, the most out of something, putting like less energy into it eventually. So these are people that need that team, and that is really important, because they're still doing they're still empowering that vision, and making that happen, and being the face of like a project that's underway. So the team is very important. They do want to have gate 44 typically, because gate 44, the gate of alertness, we did see that under Minerva. This is the last gate of the quarter of duality that we saw. And that was the gate that sniffs people out, the personnel manager, So without gate 44, it's a little bit harder to know if, like, you're gauging your message correctly to the audience that you have in front of you. You're kind of like throwing out the fishing line and being like, well, who's gonna bite, So with gate 44, there's a lot more like, oh, I know this person's gonna want to hear this, I can just tell that they're looking for somebody like me, to come into their world and to make their dreams possible. So, or, this would be a great asset to my team, and I know that they're gonna want to be a part of this. So that is the type of rulership that's coming from this ego. This is also on the cross of rulership, so getting point A to point B very efficiently is important. This is, of course, an ego skill, the manipulation, because, you are capable of handling, being the face of this project, being the face of this creative, thing in motion. So it needs that willpower to be there. The willpower is to create this team, to create this pyramid. Every single piece matters. So, but these are typically the ones that are at the top. So great to means to be in the seat of control, the one that makes the, final yes or no seal of approval. And great accumulating, the accumulation is to gather support, to tame, to give people tasks, to have that determination to gracefully pitch something to someone, and make them really interested in getting it done. So this is the skills that these people have typically naturally, especially if you have the entire channel of surrender. This makes you a transmitter of good energy, of inspirational energy. You get people hyped to get things done in society, to make these dreams a possibility. So this particularly filtering through for people that don't naturally have it, it's like you gotta be kind of like on edge, because the negative aspect to the gate of the egoist is being aware of the tricksters. And there's tons of marketing, like by the book secret tricks, that get people to buy their product. So just be aware of what is snake oil when this is in transit. There's tons of people that are like, yeah, this is gonna make you the most money, or if you put in this amount of money, you're gonna get this out of it. So just be aware of what's coming into your field, because this is the possibility of trickery. Just one sec. And cats, dude. So other than that, like, you might be a type of person that's like, hey, I'm trying to, this cat is killing me. Get off of that. Get off of that. Get off of that. That's not for you. He's trying to sit on my new prints. That is not for your butt. Oh, he's testing me. I told you this would happen, the gate of the egoist, man. So, basically, going back into it, this also could be a week where you feel like your message will be heard. So maybe going out there and being quite a visionary with what you have to say, you know, hey, I cleaned my garage out, but I need like somebody to like help me, you know, get this piece of wood cut or whatever, you know. So that's just a rough example, but this is how you may start to form a team that can help you transform who you are, transform an idea, a vision. So, you know, if you find yourself talking more about what your dreams are and what you hope to succeed, this is definitely a good week to gather that support and to give people tasks that they want to be a part of. You know, maybe asking somebody for help or, you know, instilling an idea. It will feel more attractive typically. Or not. Maybe you're just practicing, you know, like that's what I found myself doing, is being like, hey, like, even though nobody's interested in this particular thing, like I could still practice like verbalizing what I want to happen with people and understanding the objection. So that's really important. If you have this gate, these people tend to know what to do when you get objected. So like somebody coming and saying like, no, like before you even get to say anything, like those are the ones that weave through the no. And it's like, but, you know, let me give you this like one hanging sentence that makes you think, so the next time I see you, you come back and you're like, actually this really resonated with me and stuck with me, what are you talking about? So that is the skill that you may have seen come through. Yeah. The questions of the week. What message has been stewing inside of you that you wish you could get across to the right people? How much does your life revolve around getting the right people inspired to do great things? What would you accomplish with your own team? How would it feel to finally get it done? So let this visionary type of process steep. Have you ever said something from intuition but weren't sure that it was 100% true? How do you countercorrect that fallacy with grace and modesty? So the possibility of the negative aspect of this gate is to be a prophet of fallacy, right? So, you know, you may say something so profoundly, but it may not be true. And the only way it can be true is knowing where you're wrong, right? So if there's a prophet that's like, no, like I've never said that, you know, or trying to like perceive themselves as high and mighty, that is never wrong, maybe think about those types of people in your life and be like, they're not really being genuine, because the right people, the best people, they're always like, yeah, I was wrong there and I didn't know what I was talking about. I was in a weird mood and, you know, this is actually what I believe now. So the type of people that do that are the most capable of being leaders for my viewpoint. Being able to be wrong and sitting in that humility. So think about that. I hope there's a lot of potent willpower that came through in these last transits, and I will see you guys for the next one. Enjoy.